Okay, so welcome to our online consultations and prescriptions. So what we wanted to do today is we just wanted to walk you through how we can maximize not being in the salon at the moment. And even when we do go back to the salon, how we can still prescribe online and take advantage of living in this day and age where we have access to being able to still see our clients face to face who may not be able to always come in and visit. So we're going to walk you through the best way to do our online consultations and the tools that we have to assist you with this. So for those of you who don't know us, I'll just introduce myself and Julie. So my name is Jessica. I am the Head of Education at PBS. And we have our lovely Julie Leverington, who is our Senior Business Development Manager from Queensland with us today.
Hi, everyone.
Julie has been able to implement this in quite a few of her salons that are in lockdown and out of lockdown as well. So they're finding it a really useful tool. So we wanted to just talk you through how you can do this, whether you are in lockdown or not. So what we're going to do is go through the easy steps to performing our online consultation. So it's really quite easy to do, so it's not too complicated, so please don't be overwhelmed by this at all. But we do have our consultation form both in a printable version and an editable PDF version for those of you who don't know. So what we might do later is we might pop down that link in the chat to our share file. If anyone doesn't have their share file details or needs us to resend them the link to share file or anything like that, please also pop that down and we can get back to you individually. So when you go into share file, we do have our PBS consultation form that's editable. So what you can do is you can download this, and we're going to walk you through this in a second as well. You'll download it, you will email this to your client, they will fill it in, they'll send it back to you. And what I would also suggest you do is get them to send you some few close-up photos. Even though we can do a Zoom and a FaceTime and things like that, sometimes you can't get as close and see the details of the fine line or the congestion or the blackheads or sensitivity. So if they can send you a few close-up photos of their concerns along with their completed consultation form, and I would always get them to do this in advance. And then after you've had time to assess that, really start to plan and think about what you can suggest for them, then I would book in a consultation. Now you can do this via phone, Zoom, Skype, FaceTime. Is there any other ones that people are using, Julie, for this, or are they the main ones?
No, I would say they're definitely the main ones. It would be great if you are doing it on a computer if possible, because you're going to get a better, clearer understanding of the skin, because you're going to have a bigger picture to work with. But you can definitely use, I know a lot of people do use Skype and FaceTime as well. So I guess just whatever works best for you and your clients.
Yeah. You can even do, I know sometimes with my family, we do WhatsApp video calls, depending on what device you have. So you just utilize what you can with your own tools. So while you're doing your online consultation form, this is when you would just do it the exact same way that you're doing in your clinics. Talk them through the consultation, what they've put down, why they've rated it, maybe a 5 out of 10, or, talk them through what they're currently using, what they're liking on their skin. So just like you would do it in your clinics, you're just going to conduct it via an online medium. So we're going to identify our clients' needs. They're generally going to write down what their main concerns are and then why. With your normal questioning, why are they having these concerns? So Julie and I are going to do a little mock one a little bit later. And then from that, after we've identified their concerns and needs, we're going to consult with Pride. So for any of you who are familiar with Image, we do talk about Pride a lot. Some of you may be familiar with it from other sales trainings, but we're going to consult with Pride, and Pride basically takes out the sales process. So it makes you prescribing for their concerns. We're doing what we are required to do as therapists. We're designed to find out their concerns and address those needs. And so that's how we're going to incorporate that with our Pride, which we will go through. So this is our confidential skin health questionnaire. Again, this is our one that we can print, and we also have this same version in an editable PDF. So whether you're doing online consultations or you're in your clinics and maybe you have iPads or tablets, you can still utilize this form and have it saved to their file. So that way you're also not printing 1,000 different bits of paper you can have it all saved digitally. So some of the important questions that we really want to hone in on to give them a proper home care as well. So what are their two main concerns to their skin? Now, in an ideal world, we always want to fix everything, but we need to start with the top two concerns. Once we fix those top two concerns, then we can move on to those other things. We can also target multiple concerns because our ingredients in our skincare products have multiple different ingredients that are targeting multiple things at the one time, which is always great. We can multitask. So what products are our clients currently using? So they may have been on a prescription from us, but maybe because they've run out of things and, you know, if they're not working and things like that at the moment, or for any reason, they may have bought something online. We're doing a lot of online shopping now. They may have picked something up at the supermarket. So has things changed from what they're currently been using? Maybe they're also a new client for you. So we need to also assess, are we fixing a skin barrier issue? Are we wanting to maybe switch their cleanser because maybe their skin has dried out a little bit? We're going to that change of season now as well. So changing of seasons, sometimes you need to change their skincare routine because their skin will change and adjust to that season. And lastly, what we want to do, and this does change a little bit depending on if we're in clinic or not, but when they were since we last saw you, has there been any major changes in your skin? And I was just talking to Julie just before we popped on about my skin and my changes since I've been locked down. And I'm getting so many more breakouts along my jawline that I've never got before. And that could also be, and I didn't actually pick this up when we were talking to Julie, but that could also be from my mask wearing. So whenever I leave my home, and especially because we exercise daily, every time I've got my mask on, that's also rubbing along that jawline as well. And I've just thought of that now. It didn't occur to me when we were talking before. But that could also be where that is coming from, because I don't ever really get breakouts along there. So what has changed in your client's skin? And what can we then work at and try and assess those needs? Did you have anything else, Julie, that you think we could add to that?
I think definitely making sure that if they are a regular client of yours, that you have the history printed. So if anyone joined us for our webinar yesterday, I did a couple of events when I was away last week in Mackay, and I just had to make sure that I had all of the client's history in front of me as well. It's really important that you pull all of that and have a look at when they last bought their products. And if they are a brand new client to you, what I'd really encourage when they send back this consultation, as well as the pictures of the skin, ask them to line up their skincare routine and send you a picture of what that routine actually looks like. That's going to give you a really clear understanding. Are they using a cosmeceutical, or are they just using over the counter, so that you're equipped with the language you want to use to explain the differences in making the switch to, you know, Image Skincare, Pure Fiji, BT, whatever it is that you have in your salon or clinic. We just want to make sure we know exactly where they're at and where we need to get them to. So that's a really important thing to do, as well as history and a picture of their current skincare routine at home.
Perfect. So this is our skin health questionnaire. So this is the editable version, and it's very easy to use. I just downloaded this from ShareFile before we came on, and it has all the same fields that your clients can just type in. So for example, if we're doing Julie, we'll click on her name, we'll write Julie, they can fill in all their details, and then they just, if it's a little button, they just will click on that and that will highlight. So do you smoke? We've already ticked no. Is she living with a smoker? No. I'm just guessing all of these questions from knowing you, Julie. But the client would go through and do all of this. Now, because they're also doing it in at their own time and at home, you might find that they actually might write a few more detailed answers.
Yep.
Because they're not rushed in your clinic. They don't want to have to hurry up and lie on the bed and have their treatment because they're so excited. You might actually get more of a detailed idea of what is going on in their skin, and sort of might even go, especially I know with sometimes medications. They can't remember. They have no idea. They know there's something there at home. But if they're at home, they've got all those bottles, and you might get a full list of all of their vitamins and minerals and medications that they're taking. And especially if it's a medication, I know being in the office, I get a lot of questions emailed to me. My client is on this medication. Can we do this treatment? My client's on this medication. Can I recommend this product? And having this sent to you in advance gives you that extra time to really go in and research. You can Google all medications now. You can find all the adverse side effects and what it's doing on the skin and why they're taking it. You can Google all of that. And knowing that you're not under a time constraint with your client sitting in front of you, then you can have that extra time to really prep yourself and plan this, their treatment plan accordingly, or their home care plan accordingly. So they will write down all of their medications. If they're pregnant, yes or no. I'm going to say no, Julie. Now we're just going to go through a few little key things and why we're asking for them, because sometimes we have a consultation form, but we look at it and we're like, why do you want to know that? How does that, alter our treatment plan or what we're going to do? So, for example, stress levels. Julie, where would you rate your stress levels at right now?
Probably around a 5.
5. Okay, let's just pop it there. Now, this can change, and the stress levels can really change all the time. Sometimes they could be at a 10 one week, and then the next week they're down to a 1 or a 2. Technically, I don't think I've ever met anyone at a level 1 with a stress level. But their stress levels can go up and down, and especially during this time, stress is at an all-time high. Everyone's worried about when we're going back to work. Are we going to get shut down again? Are we going to get COVID? Am I going to get sick? Do I get vaccinated? Do I not get vaccinated? There's all of those things. When are the kids going back to school? I can't cope with them at home. So stress levels at an all-time high, and stress plays a really big role in our skin. We see a lot of changes in our skin when we are stressed. We get breakouts. We also turn to comfort food as well, and alcohol, which also plays another big impact in our skin. We can get more congestion. We can get a lot of couperose on our skin. What else would you add to that, Julie?
I think that everything you said is really great. And I think just with these stress levels, giving them little hints and tips of what they can be doing in lockdown at home to maybe reduce the stress levels, take time for themselves, whether it's, a crystal roller, whether it is perhaps you're looking at hiring out your flex, because that we know that increases our serotonin hormone. So being able to have that at home for a couple of weeks. It could be meditation. It could be a relaxation playlist. Just give them ways of bringing down those stress levels, because if you're trying to make a change with the skin, if you can't reduce those stress levels, there's only so far you can take the skin without getting that ultimate skin transformation. So it's so important that we explain to our clients what stress can do to skin, and we want to try and manage that the best way we can. We're not going to bring them from a 10 back down to a 1 just by little bits and pieces, but we might get them down to a 5, and that will just assist in getting you a much better result in the skin, depending on what's going on. But you cannot get ultimate skin transformation if your clients are sitting at 5 and above stress level. So we must address that. We must share some hints and tips. That could be things from Eco Coco, like the bath salts, or anything like that, anything where they can just take some time for themselves and try and reduce those stress levels.
Definitely. I find different smells. If I'm really stressed, I'll go and smell some essential oils to really sort of calm me. I'll just go outside and just take a few deep breaths and just try and recenter myself. Especially if you are working from home, it's really important that you do step away from that computer and that screen, because otherwise you just sit in that room staring at that screen constantly. It's important that you step away and just take those few deep breaths, get some of that sunshine on you as well. And that will really help to reduce those stress levels. Now, how many litres of water do you drink daily? So I also asked a few additional questions with this one. So it's not so much just how much water do you drink daily, but also how much coffee are you drinking in caffeinated beverages? So for every glass of caffeinated beverage, cup of coffee that we have, we take away 4 to 5 glasses of water from our body. So when you feel like you're having, 4 or 5 cups of coffee, but you're only having 2 or 3 glasses of water, you're kind of cancelling that out a little bit. So you do need to keep that in mind. Herbal teas will also count as drinking water. So you do need to just take those few little things into consideration. Now, sometimes no matter how much water you drink, we can still be topically dehydrated. And that's because our body needs so much water for it to function normally. So we do still need to give our skin topical hydration, and, things like hyaluronic acids, or even soaking and locking in that moisture is another big thing. If any of you guys are familiar with Bestow and that topical soaking, That is a huge one. We need to lock in that hydration into the skin. So even though they may drink 2 litres of water a day, doesn't mean they still can't be dehydrated on the surface. So we do still need to have a look at that and see how the skin is functioning. What type of supplements they're taking. So you have a lot of clients that are on every supplement in the world. Sometimes they're not skin focused though. So they could be different on different supplements for internal issues. They could be just on a general multivitamin. You just need to look at what are they on and what do we maybe need to add in depending on what their skin is how their skin is functioning at the one time. Julie, if you have anything to add during this, just jump in case I missed something.
But yeah. I guess with that, having a look, if you are a Bestow stockist and perhaps your clients, when you look at their history, have been on beauty oil, but they've spent, God, I've lost track of how many weeks you guys have been in lockdown now, but those stress levels would be high, which means that we could have that blockage between our primary and our secondary fats in your omega-3 and your omega-6 families. So we don't forget that plus oil will skirt around those blockages during times of high stress or ill health. So it's probably a really great idea to chat to your client about that during your online consultation, to perhaps go back to the plus oil for maybe 1 or 2 bottles, just to ensure we're getting through any of those blockages and we're making sure they're not EFA deficient, because that will really affect their skin as well. Yeah. So that's a good one to really focus on when you're looking at supplements and vitamins.
Perfect. Now, exercising. We are exercising more, and sometimes exercise can cause changes in the skin, especially if you're sweating a lot. You don't want that sweat to dry onto your skin, because that can not only dehydrate you even more, but it can also cause little comedones and congestion along those lines where that sweat is sitting, especially if it's around the hairline. I know sometimes around my my mask as well, especially if I'm exercising a lot and I've got my mask on and I'm just breathing into my mask and I'm just getting all that carbon dioxide going around, my skin is just being oxygen deprived, and I do get a lot of not only congestion, but it feels drier along through there as well. So definitely, depending on how much exercise they're doing, we just need to make sure that they're looking after their skin at the same time. They're cleansing properly after each routine as well, and not letting that sweat sit on their skin. When do they go out in the sun? So this question here, always burns, usually burns, sometimes burn. Julie, what would you say you are?
I would say sometimes burns.
Sometimes burns, okay. So this will indicate our Fitzpatrick type. So we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now, just remember, this is just a guide. If we're really looking at the Fitzpatrick and we're wanting to start maybe prepping them for a peel or doing a treatment when we're back into our clinics, then we would definitely ask more questions around this, just to find out, exactly what's happening with the skin. How do they burn? Is it with sunscreen? Is it without sunscreen? What's their family background? A question I love to always ask is, how do you heal? So if you get a mosquito bite or a little pimple, how does it heal? Does it go back to normal fairly quickly, or does it stay pigmented for a really long time afterwards? And based on that question, I might jump them up to a new category. Yep. Which I quite often do as well. And I do see that, especially even in my kids as well. If you were to look at them, they're in this usually burns category, and they're usually, to look at them, they're a Fitz 2. But asking all of those questions and seeing how their skin heals, I need to put them in a Fitz type 3. And that's also based because we have that European background as well. But you don't see that in them, but it's there being present. So those extra questions are really helpful. Have you ever been under a treatment plan of a dermatologist, plastic surgeon, or esthetician / beauty therapist? So this will indicate, because sometimes they have been to a doctor and they have been to a dermatologist and they're using a cream or they're using something, but they forget to tell you because they think that, oh, this is completely different from why I am here with you. So these extra questions sometimes can be that little bit helpful as to why are they there? And sometimes it doesn't relate to us, and sometimes it does. So it's good to know those extra little things of what's going on. Now, are they interested in any cosmetic treatments? So when most people probably will be dying to have some Botox and fillers when they're allowed to, but some people maybe are interested but don't want to go down that path. So I fit into that category. I would love to have Botox, but I just am too scared of needles. And just the thought of having it done, I won't get it done. So I look to my skincare to fill that need. And I know that there are a lot of people there that are like that. And maybe it could also be a budget thing for them. They can't afford to go and have Botox and fillers, but they don't mind spending that money on their skincare. So if they are ticking those categories, then you would make sure you really look at the skincare, that it includes, you know, peptides, retinols, even stem cells, something like that to signal those changes and mimic the effects of Botox. So you can always refer back to, we have lots of different ingredients in all of our ranges that will fit clients with those needs. Also, if they are having any treatments done, you can also give them those products that have those ingredients to support the effects of what they've had done. So either it will let it last longer, help to maintain it, or heal those injection sites quicker as well. So there's lots of different things that we can do with our clients.
Definitely. And I think that's a really good question to see if they've had Botox and fillers before. I don't know about you guys, but I do go into a lot of injectable clinics here on the Gold Coast. And a lot of them, the feedback I get is clients will spend a lot of money on getting Botox and fillers. They don't necessarily look after the health of the skin. So that's opening up the channels about talking to them about skin health, that you can have as many Botox and fillers as you like, but if you have an unhealthy skin, what's the point? So definitely using that question to your advantage to talk about maintaining the health of the skin while they are getting Botox and fillers will be really great as well. And I don't know about any other states, but here threads is massive. So even talking about prepping the skin for threads, so you maybe reduce the risk of bruising or that inflammation that they do get. So you can be talking about things like the Dermalux, maybe the Flex at home, if you know they're going to be coming out and having threads in your clinic, things like that. Really think outside the square when you're asking these questions so that you can give them all the information that they need to have that ultimate kind of skin health and transformation with you.
Perfect. Now, when we're looking at the rest of this, we won't go through every question. We're just going to pick out a few key questions for you. But when you're looking at what are they concerned with, so they will obviously tick whichever ones that they are concerned with. And then when you go through and speak to them about this, where is it? So where are they concerned with that pigmentation? How long have they had that pigmentation for? Have they noticed it flared up at a particular time? Does it go down at a particular time? Maybe it's a winter and a summer thing because they're not in the sun. So you would ask, depending on what they've put on, just a few extra key questions about how and why. So that way we can really address, you know, is it a topical product? Is it something that's causing friction? Is it, it could also be caused by maybe a medication that they've started taking. So we would just question our clients with that. Now, a lot of people do get confused, do you find, with this one, why we're asking this one? So do you suffer from bloating, constipation, or digestive discomfort? So a lot of the times, if you do have internal gut issues, that will show on the skin. And so we really need to make sure that those gut issues are being controlled and balanced. So if they are having any issues, we can also then refer them to Bestow. So Bestow, again, with our Gut Love Plus, our beauty oils, all of those products there, the Be Cleansed, we can definitely help to tailor those needs for them.
Yep, definitely.
Now, I always in class when people fill out this next one, so do you have a sweet tooth and would you like skin-friendly, healthy alternatives for sweet treats? And they tick no. And then the person next to them goes, you love sweets. And they go, yeah, but I don't want a healthy alternative. So this is just the, if someone did want to have, especially if they're having a lot of skin issues and they wanted to make those changes, we have our amazing skin treats books with lots of beautiful recipes, healthy alternative recipes to refined sugars and things like that. So there's always that help and support for you. And sorry, excuse me. Don't forget, we also have our online cleansers available, and they're available free for our Bestow stockers. So they can always put their clients into those programs as well.
Yeah, and it's a good idea. Like, even if you are in lockdown, you perhaps have a VIP Facebook group for all of your clients. You know, perhaps you're making some really healthy sweet treats for your kids at home. Why not go live into that VIP Facebook group, showcase how you make that treat and how healthy it is? Again, one of the events I was at last week, we served Bestow healthy treats there, along with using the Bestow teas to make healthy cocktails as well, non-alcoholic. And it was an absolute hit. People were like, well, I can't believe these are healthy sweet treats that I can be having and it's not having a detrimental effect on my skin. So yeah, if you are in lockdown, maybe utilize Facebook Live, Instagram Live, or if you've got that Facebook group, if you're a bit nervous about going live to the world, and then hop in there and be able to share a recipe or a smoothie or something like that. So it's another way just to give your clients a little bit more education and more interaction with you and perhaps your team while you're in lockdown.
Perfect. Now, I'm just going to draw your attention to making sure that we fill this out correctly, this part, because it gets confusing. So the top one is rate how you feel about your skin from 1 being bad and 2 to being fantastic. But then when we go to the next one, it reverses it and everyone fills this out wrong. So in order of importance, please rank 1 as being the most important and 5 as the least important. So just make sure that they have completed that one correctly. And if you feel like it's wrong, just ask them, just wanting to make sure that, you know, you really did think that your fine lines are, you know, sort of higher or lower, because a lot of the times they misread that. We always just want to check what they're currently using on their skin to make sure it is right for their needs. Do we need to change it? Sunblock on their face. If they are an image client and they may not be going out in the sun because they're in lockdown, don't forget that we have that digital aging defense, which we will go through later. Then that is still helping to block those blue light rays. So if you're staring at your computer every day, I do have mine on today. I will not leave this office, but I have got my protection on from those blue light rays on my skin. Do you want to highlight anything else in this section, Julie, or should we maybe move on through
I
the
think
rest?
we can probably move on. I think you probably realize why we're asking the other questions to get an idea of textures that they like and things like that, so we can really tailor that prescription. There's no point in, you know, not really taking a close look at that and then prescribing something the complete opposite to what they like. It's just, they're going to take it home and it's just going to sit in the bathroom.
Yeah.
So if you do have this printed at home when you're doing your consultations, I literally just grab my highlighter and highlight a few key things. So I remember to really take that into consideration when I'm giving them their kind of home care treatment plan, as well as perhaps their plan once we come out of lockdown and they're coming back in and seeing us for in-clinic treatments as well.
Perfect. Okay, I'm just going to go back to our presentation. Sorry, it's just wanted to not work for me. All right, so let's look at how we can create that healthy skin with some key ingredients and where we can find them as well. So when we look at this, and we are going to talk about Image as well as our other brands as well. We've got some Pure Fiji and biotherapeutics in there. So, and you can relate this to any skincare range that you have in. So when we look at our program, we want to really keep it simple for our clients to start with. And then depending on our client, if they're more sophisticated, we can add additional items in as well. So we always want to cleanse, serum, and protect during the day. And then at night, we want to cleanse, serum, and nourish and repair their skin. So we can target and tailor our needs. And then depending on our client, we could add an extra serum. We might add a mask. We could add eye creams, and we could also add some body products. So we can really tailor and customize depending on where our client is at in their regime. So when we look at our different ingredients, so when we go back to our concerns for our client, what are their key concerns? So if it is lines and wrinkles, we're definitely going to go, okay, well, we need to put some retinol into that skin. So depending what those two concerns are, this is where we're going to tailor their skincare regime. So we've just picked out our most popular ingredients that tailor most skin conditions today. But again, refer back to your brand, all of the ingredients that you know will work for those different skin conditions, and really customize that client's program. So you can see in Image, we have a lot of different retinols within our range. when we are starting off with Image, we always start off with either the Ageless Repair Cream or the Ageless Total Overnight Retinol Mask, because these are our 2 lower doses of retinol. Never start someone on the Ageless Retin-A cream. It's just too intense for that first time user. Now, even though we, with the Ageless Repair Cream, even though it is our lower strength of retinol, it's still quite an active retinol. So you need to introduce it slowly into your client's skin. So I always like to do 3, 2, and 1. So every 3rd day, 2nd day, and then every day. And you want to get the skin slowly used to it and build up. Then obviously you can progress through the range, and then we have our MD retinol as well. Now, when we're looking at other brands in our Pure Fiji, we have our amazing Kakadu Vitamin C Brightening Serum with our Bakuchi oil. So we have our natural form of Retin-A in there, which is absolutely amazing. This is one of the favorites around the office. And I think I love this when I use it, and Julie loves this one as well. Yep. It just feels amazing on the skin, gives it that instant brightening, and really does help to stimulate that cell turnover, but doing it in that natural way. Then our peptides, you can see, especially with Image, we have a lot of different peptides. And those of you who are familiar with Image, we go through them quite in detail. We have our biomimetic peptides, we have our neuropeptides. So depending on what we are wanting to do with the skin, we can definitely tailor that client's needs. Especially if you're wanting to work a bit more gently in the skin, but still get those really effective results. If you have more of that, you know, fragile or compromised skin, you can definitely go into the max range, which has our biomimetic and our neuropeptides. So you can even stimulate things like retinol, but without having to use the retinol if they're sensitized to it. So you can see that there are a lot of ranges that we have our peptides in. I won't go through all of them because there's so many. But then we have it also in our other ranges. So in our Pure Fiji, we have it in a few of our products, our Super C Brightening Cream, our Anti-Aging Cream, and our Hydrating Multi-Active Night Cream. We also have it in our serum and our eye cream. We also do have it in our BT range. So the whole Platinum collection does have peptides. It is also in our Energy 2 and 3. There is some other ingredient within our ranges. There are a couple of other products that do have peptides and you know, AHAs, and when we go through, but there were so many to put in, I would have slides forever. So what we've done is we've just put in those really key ones for you to make those changes, but always remember to refer back to your manuals. When we look at AHAs and BHAs, so if someone has congestion, they have rough and dull skin, they just really need to increase that cell turnover. We do definitely want to look at our AHAs and BHAs to really stimulate that skin and encourage that new healthy skin. They've got pigmentation as well. You want to bring up those new healthy cells that are, you know, producing nice and uniformly. So we do have quite a few ranges within Image that we have our AHAs and BHAs. So obviously the Ageless collection, the Ormetic, the Clear Cell, the Illuma, our Body Spa, and then our MD range. I'm loving the new Illuma Intense Facial Illuminator. It kind of ticks all of those boxes. It has your AHAs in there with your glycolic. It has your niacinamide in there. It has your tyrosinase inhibitors, your lightening ingredients. So it has your vitamin C, so you got that brightening. Probably one of my new favorites.
Yeah, mine too. I love it.
And then we also have AHAs and BHAs in a lot of our other ranges. So Pure Fiji, our glycolic overnight renewal peel with mandelic and niacinamide, amazing peel. If you have not tried this one, it does come in a retail and a professional strength, and the changes in the skin instantly are just amazing. So definitely try this one. Your skin, I just find it's plump, the pores are reduced.
Yeah,
really fantastic product. Now in our BT, for those of you who are really not sure about BT and have no idea what we're talking about, tomorrow I'm going to be doing a BT Ceuticals training for all of the products. So if you do want to know any more about that, let us know if you don't have the link, and we might send the details out to you, because that is going to be a 2-hour webinar from 1 to 3. going through the whole BT Ceuticals range, so you'll get to know it in a lot of detail. So we have our Aquafuse foam peel. We have it in our Aquafuse clearing, our peptide cream, our Accelerate clearing, and then our sheet masks as well. I love these sheet masks. They are amazing add-on. There's so many different types in there. So definitely tune into tomorrow if you want to know more. Now, our lightning ingredients. So we do have a lot of lightning ingredients, and trying again, when we were going through this presentation, to pick the key ones was just like, which ones are the key ones? Because otherwise I could have these lists forever. So in our ageless range, we have our resurfacing mask and our retin-A cream. We also have it in quite a few of our Vital C products, our Medic Eye Lift, our Blur Gel, all of the Illuma range, and the MD lightning cream as well. And these are just the key actives. There are a lot of other products that have our lightning ingredients in there as well. Then when we go to our Pure Fiji and our BT, all of our brightening collection, our vitamin C collection has all got those brightening and lightening ingredients in there. We also have it in our Energy One in our BT cocktail. We have it in our Accelerate Brightening. Also in our brightening mask and our vitamin C mask in the BT mask range. Now, hyaluronic acid. We were having this discussion, weren't we, Julie, about which products do we put in here that have hyaluronic acid? And when I was looking at image, the list was so long of all of the products that contained hyaluronic acid. I was just going, oh my God, which ones do I add? So we added just our key ones, but just note, if you think that there is going to be, you know, another product that might target multiple conditions for your client that has it in there, refer back and really just assess your client's needs. So when we look at our BT range, we have it in our Resty Fluid, our BT Serum, our Platinum Peptide range all has hyaluronic. We have it in our HD, sorry, I've gone too quick, our HD delivery mask. For those of you who haven't seen this mask, and I don't have one out here right now, but they are a hyaluronic, it's like a gel mask. Is that the right word, Julie?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So you can see in this picture that they are clear and they just flood the skin with hydration, plump up those lines and wrinkles. I did the eye one. I was feeling, I had all these lines around my eyes and I just sat there watching TV and I had the eye mask on and took it off, and no joke, it was just like so smooth, plump and hydrated and glowing. It was beautiful. So definitely give these ones a go. They're a great add-on, not only to your professional treatments, but also at home treatments as well.
Yeah, they're the type of things that people pick up when they're shopping at, you know, your Meccas and your Sephoras, the little eye patches that you can get, the different kind of sheet masks and everything. And there's nothing active or great about them. They're more just an Instagrammable product. Your client should be coming to you for all of that. So just make sure that if you are going to introduce that, really great to jump on and do some social media exposure on that, whether it be a post, again, a live or an Instagram story, just to showcase that we're using really great ingredients in ours and you're actually going to see true benefits rather than just a random product they've picked up at checkout on Sephora or Mecca.
Yeah. And definitely with the one that has a neck and décolletage one as well, which is amazing because everyone is concerned with those lines along here. So definitely have those there available for your clients. They're great to be able just to bundle with all of the other products as a quick add-on, send it out in the mail or pick up or however we're going to do this. We'll discuss a few options with you at the end of how to roll this out if you are doing it completely virtually. Great to bundle together. We also have hyaluronic in our clearing and our brightening masks as well. So we'll go through these masks again a little bit more tomorrow, but these ones are more of that sort of fabric style mask. They're so packed full of ingredients. There's so much serum in this product that you can then just take it out and put it all over the rest of your body as well. And the one thing that I love is they have these clips. So when you put the mask on, you clip it around your ears, and then there's another little piece that hangs along the neck, and then you clip that up around. So you feel like you're getting this facelift at the same time, and you can walk around the whole house, you can do your normal routine, and it's not going to fall off. They're really an amazing mask to use. So fantastic little add-on. You can also utilize those masks with your little BT fusions. So especially this is the retail one, you can also retail these to your clients along with those masks, and they can then infuse that mask with this product as well. So lots of little things for you. Now, when we look at Image and Pure Fiji, we had quite a few products, like I said again, but our key ones within the Image range. So we obviously have our Hyaluronic Filler 6. We have our Vital C Anti-Aging Serum. I feel like this is going in the wrong order.
It's in reverse. That's okay. Keeping us on our toes.
Our Water Burst as well. So the Water Burst is fantastic for those clients who don't like any oil products. It's just an amazing flood of hydration onto their skin, but also antioxidants as well at the same time. And then the Hyaluronic Filler 6 forms of hyaluronic acid. So it's targeting that dehydration at those multiple levels. It's targeting those fine lines and wrinkles as well. So you're kind of ticking off a few boxes with the Hyaluronic Filler 6. We then have our Kakadu Brightening Serum with our Hyaluronate. We also have our Hydrating Multi-Active Day Cream, and then our Brightening Super C Cream. So again, even Pure Fiji is so full of hyaluronic acid in there to feed that skin. Now, niacinamide. Niacinamide's that real big buzzword at the moment. Everyone is wanting a product with niacinamide. Everyone is using this to prep clients' skin at the moment, to maintain overall skin health, even out tone and texture. It helps even minimize pore size. What else would you add with niacinamide, Julie? It's amazing at the moment.
Yeah, it literally is a great all-rounder product. And I think if any of you have been doing online courses through lockdown, you will hear niacinamide be mentioned a lot, especially in regards to prep for needling once we come out of lockdown. So I know it's a question we've had, I reckon, ever since I started 4 years ago. There's always probably every few months somebody will pop up and ask what we have in the way of providing niacinamide in our products. So really great. We've got a great collection here that we can be recommending for your clients.
And I know a lot of people didn't realize that niacinamide was in the Ormedic Balancing Antioxidant Serum. So that is another really good all-rounder to really calm and soothe the skin, especially if you have a compromised skin, that teen unbalanced skin. To be able to have all of the actives in there to calm and soothe and repair the skin, but also having that little bit of niacinamide, it really does help that skin barrier function as well. So you've got lots of different options in here with Image. And then we also have it in our Peel. And then in our BT range as well, there's a few key products in the BT range that are really going to help with that skin, especially when you look at it, it's in that clearing and that brightening range, which go hand in hand with what niacinamide's doing. So you can really target those skin conditions. We also have it in our Hydrate. Now the Hydrate is just about putting those hydration levels in the skin. It's an aloe vera based product. So it does help to really calm and soothe and repair that skin. So also great for barrier function.
Yep.
Now, one of my new favorite ingredients is our hydrolyzed pea protein. Now, this is part of our digital aging defense system that is in our new prevention range. Now, we always look at protecting our skin from UVA and UVB rays, but we've also got the blue light rays that we are getting from our devices. Now, even when we are at the office and seeing all like the TV and everything that's going around, blue light glasses are a huge thing at the moment. Everyone has got, they may not need glasses for reading or prescription, but everyone has a blue light protection glassware that they're using. So, or eyewear, sorry, not glassware. So it's really important to have this in our skin. We want to maintain our skin. We want to protect our skin from those harmful rays. So we have this protection in our prevention. And like I said, I wear it every day, whether I'm stepping outside or not, going to the office, staring at my computer, or even in front of the TV all day. It's really important to give our skin that extra protection that it needs. So you can find this in all of our new prevention range only. So it's not in the prevention mat yet, but it will be when it gets reformulated. So that will be available. So definitely in your tinted, your hydrating, and your ultimate. We also have SPF protection in our eye conceal, We have it in our MD lip, which is one of my favorite lip products. I cannot go anywhere without this lip product on. The plumpness and the hydration that it also provides, as well as that SPF protection, is amazing. And then we also have our BT shade that we also have our SPF in.
Yeah, that might be a fun little Instagram post or Facebook post, is talking about your blue light glasses. I do have a pair. I'm very naughty at not wearing them very much, but talking about that as well as that protection and your prevention would be such a great post. Like literally there's so many sales at the moment on blue light glasses. Every time I go on social media and I'm scrolling, I'm seeing it. So people are very aware and they do want to protect themselves against that. So it's so unique that you can jump on and explain that our prevention has that along with your blue light glasses. So you might be able to have some fun with that and just really educate your clients and being able to protect their skin all over rather than just their eyes with their blue light glasses.
Perfect. Now we just wanted to take you through our cleansers. And sometimes we have, especially in image, there's so many cleansers, which is the cleanser for which person. And I like to also bring cleansers back to their skin type and back to their feel of what they like. Do they like cream? Do they like foam? And I know if someone gave me, well, actually, I like all cleansers, so I'm not really that right person. But if someone likes a foam cleanser and they love that bubble feel and they like to have that nice clean feel afterwards, and you give them a cream, they're not going to use it. They're not going to use that product. They're going to put it away. They're going to go, she didn't listen to me. They're going to go to the supermarket or go back online, wherever, and they're going to buy their foaming cleanser. So you really have to listen to those clients' needs. Maybe later down the track, as they get your trust and they know that, you know, they're definitely on the wrong cleanser. Maybe they're a super oily skin and they love a cream rich cleanser, maybe. But you might be able to switch it, but otherwise listen to their needs. What do they like? What do they really like the feel of? If it's something in between, how can we sort of change that? So for example, our Max cleanser, it's like a really light foaming cleanser. It's that creamy texture to start with, and it does foam up, but it's not going to foam up like crazy like a foaming cleanser. So it's like a happy medium. Our Vital C is a real cream cleanser. So if someone wants a cream cleanser and has a dry, sensitive skin, this is the cleanser to use for them. Okay. If someone's got more of a rosacea, really dry skin, and you try and give them, you know, the ageless, definitely is not going to be right for them and they're going to be sensitized. So really listen to those clients' needs and wants really with this one. The other one I just want to highlight is the Illuma, the new Illuma cleanser, because it's a different texture. So it's a cream and it's a cream to foam. So it does foam really well. I know when I'm doing this one in the shower, I get lots of bubbles and it lathers like crazy. But it also has microbeads in there. So it's also an exfoliating cleanser. So you're going to get that cleanser and exfoliator in one. Now, depending on the skin type, you can adjust the way they use this. So for more of an oily skin, I get them to use it more of in that cream consistency. So don't add too much water. For more of that drier, more combination skin, the more you foam it, the nicer it feels in your skin. So for me, having sort of that normal combination, sometimes a bit dehydrated and dry, I like to foam this one really, really well. If I used it as more of a cream, it does tend to dry out my skin a little bit too much. So it's important to really talk to your client about usage and demonstrate how to use it when assessing their skin and what they're going to need. Anything else to add on that section?
Nope, I think that's good.
So then we also have our other cleansers in our vitamin, sorry, not our vitamin C, we do have a vitamin C foaming cleanser, but our Pure Fiji range has 3 cleansers. So we can really, again, customize to their needs. The coconut cleansing balm, it is beautiful.
Amazing.
It is amazing. This can be done as a waterless product. So for those clients who don't want to add water or just want something really nice and easy, don't want to do it in the shower, want to do it at the sink, but hate splashing water everywhere. You get some people tell you they're allergic to water, which no one is actually allergic to water. They just might have a compromised barrier. But the coconut cleansing balm is also fantastic at removing eye makeup. So you could add this as the first step as an eye makeup remover and then just a makeup remover in general all over. And then they could do a second cleanse, or they might just want to use this one just as their cleanser. So it's like a gel to I don't know, it's a consistency that it kind of melts into the skin. It's a balm. It definitely does melt into the skin, and it can just be removed either with a tissue, or you can just remove it with a wet flannel, sponges, and it takes off everything really nice and easily. Then you have your coconut cleanser with papaya and moringa. So this is your real creamy cleanser. So great for more of those dry, dehydrated skins. And then your vitamin C foaming oil cleanser it's just another amazing product. There's this beautiful foam. It's like starts off as an oil, and as you put it onto the skin, it gives you like this little white foam all over. And again, it melts away all of your makeup, takes away any impurities. Fantastic on that oily, congested, acne, pigmentation. It's a kind of another little good all-rounder as well. And that they all rinse off really nice and easily. It doesn't leave any residue on the skin whatsoever.
Yeah. And I think we talked about this when we did a webinar yesterday about creating that experience at home, because if you are in those lockdown areas, your clients aren't getting that experience with you in clinic. So creating them a little bit of an experience at home with different textures through their cleansing routine is really great, because I love that coconut cleansing balm is like that pre-cleanse, and then jumping into whether I'm using my Illuma cleanser or whether I'm going to use something from Pure Fiji. I just love to create that at-home experience, because I'm not in lockdown, lucky enough, but I don't have time to go and have treatments done. So I create my own experience at home with the products too. So you can really be talking about that to your clients and creating that at-home experience.
Perfect. And then lastly, in our cleansers, we have our 2 new BT cleansers. So one's a cleansing one, a foaming one, and one's a cream. The cleansers in this range like to be really neutral. They're not full of too many actives, because we want to really do the actives with our other products such as serums and creams and things like that. They're just a beautiful cleanser that removes everything in one go. I know I've been using these, and it takes off my eye makeup amazingly and just leaves you with that beautiful, fresh, clean feel. Even with the foaming cleanser, I don't feel dry, tight, and stripped. It still leaves my skin really balanced. So there's just 2 beautiful, nice, easy cleansers, whether they want a foam or a cream. It's nice and easy that way. You don't have to really put too much thought into it, which is great. Okay, so now we're going to move into Pride. So we're going to talk about how to put this all together now and really prescribe for our skin. So we want to take that sales word out, because we're not selling to our client, we're prescribing to them. They've come to us for a reason. So let's prescribe to them and address their concerns. So when we consult with Pride, we want to address the problem. So we want to find at least their top 2 concerns. We want to find out the reason. So go into the reason their skin is this way. So we always talk about the ingredients, never about the products. We don't want to hold up a product to them and say, this is the product, this is the name of it, this is what I want, what you're going to take. We need to bring it back to the ingredient. Why are we recommending that ingredient? How is it going to help that concern? We want to demonstrate. So I always, I'm very hands. I always go, put this size amount, put a pea size amount, put it into my fingers, pop it on around my eyes, tap it, do whatever. I'm very hands-on, and clients really like that. They need to know how it's going to feel, how they're going to put it onto their skin. Do they need to use a brush? Do they need to use their fingers? What do they need to do? And then lastly, we talk about an experience. And for those of you who know me, you hear all of my stories, all of my experiences. But it's really important to share an experience. And if you don't have an experience of your own, share someone's that you know. And that's really important about being true. So I always say, don't ever lie and make up an experience, because they're going to see through that and know that that experience is completely not real. But speak about saying, I have had a client who's used this, and this was what changed with their skin, or my colleague's been using this. But this is where I always say, us as therapists need to try everything, whether it is for our skin or not. We need to be able to try it at least once. How did it feel? How did it smell? What did it feel like on my skin when I put it on? Was it prickly? Was it not? Like, all of those things are really important to get the true experience for you to communicate that to your client. If you can talk to them with passion and experience, then they will definitely that whole experience will be, you know, much more true and realistic for them as well. Would you add anything else to that, Julie?
No, I don't think so. It really is just speaking from the heart and saying, you know, really honing back in those concerns and that you want to help them. And they can, if they've still got concerns, they can't be using the right products at home at the moment. And the other, I guess, the thing on demonstrating as well, you can always do this on your Zoom or your FaceTime with your clients and actually demonstrate and show them. But if you're limited with time, you can then record a little video that you can then send on to them and show them, this is how much you need to use. This is your routine from start to finish. Or if they take something like the Flex hire, or they purchase your BT Fusion, this is how you use it. This is the angle you need to use it, buttons in, buttons out. So just make sure that there's nothing left unturned and they're not going to be playing the guessing game once they've got off that Zoom with you, because it is a lot to take in, especially if they've jumped in and gone the Rolls Royce of what they can be doing with their skin in lockdown. We really want to make sure we're doing a follow-up. So if you're in clinic at the moment, I recommend a follow-up email, which is what a lot of my clinics do. They have that drafted as a template. They customize it, go in and then customize it to every single client, make sure their aftercare is in there, if they've had treatments, how they're going to use everything, if they've got equipment at home, how they're going to use that as well. Or if you are in lockdown, that simple little video or a follow-up email can be great as well. But people are really lacking that connection. They're lacking being able to see other people. That's why we regularly jump on Zooms as a team as well, as to stay connected when we haven't seen each other in so long. You can do that as well. So little videos to your clients will really, really help. And there is other little hints and tips that I like. If you're running your WhatsApp as well, you can actually use broadcast mode in WhatsApp to send out little reminders, maybe on a weekly basis, to those top VIP clients. It might be a little bestow recipe you share, a little tip around eye creams or a serum, and they don't see who you send that to. It's just that will individually, as if you've individually text all of your clients, you can actually do that as well. So there's lots of little handy hints and tips that you can do to make sure that you're doing Pride during this consultation, but that shines through on all of your follow-up and all your continued care for clients. So they're not going to be tempted to go elsewhere when clinics reopen with all these amazing specials and deals. You want to make sure that you have kept communication that entire time, and always be prescribing with that Pride.
Perfect. So we're just going to go through a little scenario on Pride. So when we start to look at this, so we start off with our concerns. So what's the problem? So Julie, from what you've told me with your top two key concerns, they are dryness and some fine lines around your forehead and eyes. We always want to confirm it back with our client. Is this right? We want to make sure we've understood them. We also want to stop, pause, and allow them to answer.
And make sure you use the exact words they've used, like fine lines rather than, oh, the wrinkles. Because if your client sees it as fine lines but not deep wrinkles by you repeating wrinkles back to them, they'll almost be offended. So make sure you write down the exact word that they use so you can repeat it back.
Perfect. And always allow that time for them to confirm what you've said. And if it is wrong, then go back. Don't keep going with it. Always make sure you've corrected what's happened. So then we say, I can definitely see that your skin is lacking hydration, which can be worse at this time of the year with winter. So we've just come out of winter and the cold, windy weather. So sometimes we can also have a genetic disposition to drier skin. So we're trying to come up with some reasons about why their skin is maybe having this lack of moisture. So it could also be maybe they're in an air-conditioned environment at all times. Maybe they are, having those really super hot showers that's pulling that moisture out of the skin, and then they're not really locking that back in afterwards. So what could be the reasonings for this? So then we go into, and so what we need to do to make sure your skin is getting on top of the hydration with the ingredients like hyaluronic acid, shea butter, and linoleic acid. So see how we've talked about the ingredients in those products, not the product. So we also want to take care of those fine lines with some powerful peptides and vitamin C to help with collagen production. So we linked everything back to their concern. So it's like we're showing that we care. We're showing that we've listened and we're addressing their needs. This is all out of order today, isn't it?
It's that's okay.
Then we go, Julie, this would be the home care routine that I would recommend for you. You can take as little or as much as you want. It's totally up to you. So we're putting it back on them. We're making sure that they feel like they're in charge. We don't want them to feel like we're being pushy and forcing this all on them. We want to make sure that they feel like they still have control, and that's really important. Then we're going to go into demonstration. So this one here is your serum, which will add hydration to your dry skin. It contains hyaluronic acid, which draws water to your skin and keeps it hydrated. A small amount is all you need, 1 pump morning and night on cleansed skin. Important to keep simple language. We don't want to talk about high, low, medium molecular structures. Yes, we talk about that when we train. We don't want to talk about it's going to be, what it's actually doing, which cell it's targeting. We want to keep it nice and simple. So that's going to draw out water and keep the skin hydrated. That's all we really need to say on that. We talk sometimes too much. The clients go, I've tuned out. Then we talk about our experience. So share your experience with the product or talk about a success story of someone who has had success with this product. So an example of this is I always have the driest skin at this time of the year. The hyaluronic filler and the intense Vital C repair cream have totally changed my skin. My skin drinks them both up, and I've seen a huge improvement in my skin. So once you're through all of the products, pause and say, how does that sound? And give Julie time to respond.
Amazing. I want it all.
So if the client comes back with an objection, that's okay. We don't have to take that personally. We don't have to go, okay, well, they don't want it. Find out what the objection is. Is it something that we can overcome? Is it something we can just talk to them about? So when we are looking at this, we don't ever want to prejudge our clients. We don't want to go, they can't afford it, because those ones that come in that you think can't afford it are the ones who buy everything on your shelf.
Yep.
So make sure you don't ever prejudge your clients. Treat all of your clients the same. Recommend with pride the exact same way you would do with everyone, and let them make that decision for themselves. We want to listen to our client. It's really important listening. So although we're doing the speaking, and I feel like I have not stopped talking this whole time through and not let Julie say a word, it's really important you stop and you listen and you repeat, like Julie was saying, repeat it back in that same language. Use their same words. They need to know that you're listening to them, you're caring, and you're understanding what they're saying.
Yeah, women tend to have, well, not women, a lot of people actually, not just women, have a tend to talk over each other before someone's finished because they're so excited to get the next words out and, oh my God, I've got everything for you. I can fix your entire world. But you really listen with intent. So actually hear what your clients are saying. Because if you pick up on their signals and really lean in and really care about everything they're saying to you, when you actually come up and explain your pride and explain your recommendations and your ingredients that are going to get the changes they're actually looking for, it's going to come from the heart. Your clients are going to take it on board, and they'll know it's a genuine recommendation rather than just somebody in, pharmacy or something just going, oh, I've heard this product's good, why don't you try that? So really listen with the intent to hear exactly what they're saying, not thinking about the next client or the last client or things like that. Be really, really present in the moment, and I promise you that makes such a difference.
And don't think about what you're having for lunch, when the day's going to finish, where you're going for night. Stay in that moment.
Yeah.
And I know sometimes we tune out, sometimes we just go into cookie cutter mode and we do that, but it's really important not to, and be present in that moment and be with that client. So going back to objections, remember to always go back to the concern and the solution for the problem. Have I missed something? Have I not addressed their concern? Have I maybe chosen the wrong product that's really not right for them? So really go back to that concern for that client. And don't let a no be a personal attack. We do that a lot. We sort of look at ourselves and go, she hates me. She doesn't want, what I've done is wrong. It's not. Some people, there's no's for so many reasons. And sometimes it's no, not right now. I remember when I was in clinic, I did this one new client, did facial on her, and I gave her all the recommendations, and she's like, nah, not going to buy anything now. I'll have a think about it and we'll see. Walked out the door. I'm like, really? I thought I was doing so well with that client. 2 minutes later, she turned around, walked back in the door and said, I trust you. Let's do it. And she bought the products. So sometimes they just need that time to process. Might not always be that quick where they turn around 2 minutes later, but they might come back at their next visit. They might sort of be walking by and go, okay, now I need this. I'm out of this product now. They may not have been finished all of their products before. Depending on what the reason is, it's not a personal attack. Write all your recommendations down so you have it there to refer back to. If they come back in, you know exactly what you were recommending for them and why. So what solutions can you prescribe? So sometimes difficult skin disorders. So sometimes we get scared by these difficult skin disorders, don't we? And we think, oh my God, this is really beyond me and I can't, deal with it. Depending on what it is, there's a number of solutions you can do. We've got here as well, difficult skin disorder, go to Bestow, look at some dietary advice, look from within the body. I always like to do, go back to a colleague and say, look, I'm working with this client's skin. I just want a second opinion. Don't feel that a second opinion is making you not know what you're doing and talking about. We always bounce ideas off each other. We are always, as a team, coming up to each other and go, okay, this is what I recommended. This is what I'm dealing with. What do you think? And we'll always go, yeah, that's great. But how about you add this? Or have you tried that? And sometimes having that second opinion really makes that client feel special and feel like you're there to help them and that you are going to get the best advice for them. So not only working internally with Bestow or any dietary type of products, but you also want to work topically. And then when we can, or if you can do it now, if you're not in lockdown, but also do those treatments that are going to accelerate your home care. We also want to look at their skin concerns. So prescribe correct daily skincare diet ingredients. So you really want to make sure is what they're using is right for now. And remember that can change. So as their seasons change, as their, it could be stress levels, it could be medication, what is happening with their skin. And also if we're going to start to do a series of treatments on them, what do we need to have in their diet to support that series of treatments? And that's really important to keep assessing their needs. Sometimes that client has been on that same moisturizer that they've had for the last 20 years because they love it, but it's not right for their needs. So always readdress. And then for advanced results, this is when we can start to prescribe our treatments. So if you can do it now and you're not in lockdown, put your plans together. If you are in lockdown, what you can do is slowly start to plant the seed. Talk to the client about what we can do coming out of this, what that series will look like, and really start to map that out for the client. Whether you book it or not is a different story because it's still a little bit unpredictable, but just have that conversation with them. This is what I want to do. This is the results we're going to be able to get so that they're ready to go when we can start to do it. We can start prepping their skin now for different sorts of treatments. That's going to be perfect. And then finish with the skin health program. So make sure you are finishing everything with a mineral makeup. There is nothing worse than having the amazing ingredients on their skin, perfect skincare program. We've got a line of treatments all planned, and then they put disgusting chemical-filled fillers, everything of type of makeup that you don't want, artificial colors and dyes and stuff like that. And it's causing then acne cosmetica, and it's undoing all that hard work. So make sure we are finishing it with a mineral makeup at all times. Did you have anything to add, Julie?
No, I think that's really good.
Perfect. So then just remember to recommend with pride. Find the problem, address the two concerns. Go back to the reason. Why is this happening to the client? Talk about the ingredients that are going to help those concerns, always linking it back to the ingredients. Demonstrate. Explain how the client is going to use it. Are they going to take one pump morning and night? Are they going to take a full pipette? Are they going to add a 20-cent piece worth? Whatever it is, we're going to demonstrate and explain them how to use it. If it's the water burst has to be explained. You need to make sure that you dispense a sort of an almond size amount into your hand. You want to sort of gently massage it in, and then you want to do a slow tapping motion to burst open those water droplets. If you don't explain how to use that product, it's a real sensory experience product. It needs to be felt in that way. Otherwise, you don't burst those water droplets open. And then experience. Remember, share a success story and make sure it's true. That is just something that's really important. We want to pride ourselves on always being true and open with our clients. We don't ever want them to think that we're just doing that hard sale.
That's where your before and afters can come in really handy. If you've been really proactive about getting your before and afters of what your clinic's achieved, that can be amazing at sharing a story, because clients can literally see the before, the after, what that treatment plan was, what the home care was, and knowing that you've got everything that you need to get that client results if they commit to you as much as you're committing to them.
Perfect. Now, we've just got a couple of little case studies that we're going to run through. We're not going to go through them in main detail, but what we want to just see is how we can link back those key ingredients. So when we look at this client here, she's a FITS 3, she's got melasma, uneven skin tone, photo aging, and a normal combination skin. So based on that, what key actives do you think that we could suggest for her to treat her concerns? So Julie, what would you suggest at the moment?
Definitely your lightening ingredients, throw some retinols in there, and you definitely want to make sure that she is absolutely 100% on her SPF. Perfect.
So just those key simple things, those lightening ingredients are going to address the melasma and the uneven skin tone. Your retinols are also going to help lift up that cell turnover and encourage those new healthy cells to grow. And then the SPF is going to make sure that we're not getting any further damage from occurring, and we're just going to have that same issue happening as well. So just being really simple with identifying those concerns is all we want to do. We don't want to overcomplicate the whole thing. When we've got our breakout prone skin, so we've got here FITS 2 and grade 2 to 3 acne, and you can see it looks quite red, it looks aggravated. She's got that oily skin, congestion, and post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation. So straight away, I'm thinking that we need something that's going to help not only normalize that barrier, maybe she might need some niacinamide to normalize that barrier. We'll probably need to put some AHAs and some BHAs definitely in there to really declog those pores and take out that congestion. She might also need some type of lightening ingredient to help with that post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation. So keep it really simple. What is their top 2 concerns, and address those 2 concerns. And then lastly, we have our redness prone skin. So rosacea, sensitive, dry, dehydrated skin. So when we look at this, we really want to calm it. We want to repair it, and we want to soothe it. We want to bring all that redness down. So straight away, we're thinking like vitamin C, antioxidants. We're thinking niacinamide in here as well. What else would you sort of think? Hyaluronic acid for the dehydration. Yeah.
He might look towards your stem cells when they're so sensitive. So no, we're not using any of those active AHAs or BHAs as well.
Definitely. So I would steer clear of your AHAs, BHAs, and your retinols. It's just going to be too strong for their skin right now. Repair that barrier, calm and repair that skin, and then you can move on from there. Now, when we talk about layering, I find people get really confused with which ones do I apply first. And they apply their thick cream first, and then they try and put their serum over the top, and it doesn't go through. So it's really important to tell your clients what order to put things in. If you don't explain that to them, remember, they're not therapists. We might know it, but we need to make sure we're educating our clients on what order to put things in, because they do just need sometimes that helping hand to understand why. So it's really important that we put on our thinner based products first. Our water soluble thinner things like our serums, they need to go on the skin first. If it is designed to be a serum that's going to really correct the skin, we want to make sure that that's getting that maximum penetration. If we put on our oils and our thick moisturizers and then try and put the serum on the top, it's not going to penetrate. So we just need to make sure that we are putting that on in the correct order. I always find that I put my product on, I massage it in, and I just allow it to absorb just for a couple of 30 seconds before I apply the next product. Because if I put layer on layer on layer and I haven't put it all in, it peels off sometimes because it just doesn't have that time to blend in with the skin. So when we're looking at our sequence, we generally want to do our makeup remover first if it's at night. We then want to go through our cleanser. If we're exfoliating that day, we would exfoliate. If we're using a toner or a hydrating mist, we would pop that on. We would then follow by our serum. Just going to move my face over. We're then going to put our mask on. So if we're doing a mask, I do cleanse, exfoliator, and then mask, and then I'll continue back with step 4. We will then put our eye cream, our moisturizer, followed by our oil to lock that all in. We don't want to put the oil on too early and stop all of our other products from penetrating, and then finish with our SPF at all times. And lastly, we just wanted to talk about the size to use. And we all have that client who overuses their product, don't they? That in 1 month, their eye cream is gone. And they're like, are you lathering that all the way through your whole body? So it's just really important to educate your clients on the size of the products to use and the amount to use effectively. So these are just little charts to know what to do with their products. So sometimes you can explain it in a pump, if you know, or if it's not in a pump. So maybe with a serum, I always do 1 pump of my serum. But if it's not, you can always gauge how to do it. I find
it's really, I did talk over you then. I always find as well, if this is a new client to you, that they've maybe been on over the counter, they're used to using a lot of product. So really, really important that they understand that they'll need probably half to even a quarter of the amount of what they have been using, because they're using a cosmeceutical, we're penetrating the skin, there's so much more active ingredients, we're not actually needing as much product as what they're used to. So you need to make sure you explain that really well, because otherwise our cosmeceutical blows way out for them in regards to budget, where really it's probably going to save them money in the long run, because they're perhaps popping in their cleanser and their creams every time they do a weekly shop, rather than just buying it every kind of 2 to 3 months. So really important that you explain that difference if they are a new client and they're switching from over the counter to cosmeceutical.
Just as well with that as well, with overusing the product. Sometimes, especially with a moisturizer, they might come back to you and say, I really hated that product. It was so thick. It didn't sit on my skin, it just sat there on my skin and didn't do anything. And that's because they're used to using that 3 times the amount of what they actually need to. So you need to clearly explain that, because you don't want them to try the product and go, I hate it. It feels horrible. And it's purely because they've just overused it. And then this is just showing you a few other products. So with our eye cream especially, I know so many people overuse the eye cream. 1 little pea size, sometimes even a pinhead, depending on how much that is spreading, does both eyes, not 1 pea size for each individual. So I just do the 1 pump, tap it on my little finger, and then spread it. So just make sure that you are educating your clients. And then a mask and a scrub, depending. So we've got an almond to a strawberry. Depends. Are we going down the face, neck, and shoulder, the face, neck, and décolletage? Like, where are we taking this mask to is depending on how much we need. So we definitely don't want our clients to overuse our products. Yes, it's great if they're overusing and they're coming back and spending more, but they're not going to be happy in the long run, and they'll stop buying it because it'll be too expensive. So it's that real fine line. We really want to make sure we have that real happy client who gets good value out of their products.